A recent statement from the Federal Reserve of the United States about using XRP has gotten a lot of attention in the media. According to Senior Vice President David Andolfel of the Federal Reserve Branch in St. Louis, the possibility of integrating Ripple for the purpose of processing payments has been brought to their attention. To quote David Andolfel directly, "It is possible that the Federal Reserve may delegate settlement tasks to an outside party named Ripple. If this happens, the value of XRP will go up. It's also important to note that the Federal Reserve's action didn't come as a surprise to anyone. A few weeks or maybe a month ago, the Federal Reserve released an official statement in which they acknowledged the possible role that XRP and XLM could play in improving the blockchain component of their FedNow payment service. Ripple, which is known for its creative solutions in international payments and its open source platform for financial transactions, is currently the focus of attention. It is expected that integrating Ripple's technology into the FedNow payment service will be a major factor in causing XRP's value to reach levels that have never been seen before. How are you? The Helpcoin family is your reliable source for everything related to XRP. Please give me a good push on the like button, press the subscribe button, and turn on notifications to become a part of our community before we start. Also, once we reach 8,000 members, we will be giving away a huge amount of XRP. It's easy to enter the competition. All you have to do is follow these 3 simple steps. To make sure you get a spot, use Healthcoin in the comment section. Now let's get to the meat of today's show, the collaboration between Ripple and the Federal Reserve, which was made public on the Federal Reserve website. GWAG is the main thing we're looking at in a study called the United States Path to Faster Payments. The first part of the report is called the Faster Payment Task Force Approach. Ripple is seen as an important part of the Federal Reserve's partnership with technology companies to create better payment options. The paper makes a big deal of Ripple's ability to support real-time international payments. Usually, foreign transfers take between 2 and 4 days to finish, and there isn't much tracking or information available about fees. For example, Ripple is revolutionary because it lets you see the status of all payments and fees at once and settles them quickly. This leads us to the conclusion that Ripple and the Federal Reserve have expanded their partnership to include domestic payments. People in the crowd can pause the presentation that goes with it. A big part of the study talks about how Ripple works with major financial institutions like the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve, and the Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority to make the domestic payment system better. Ripple Labs innovations at the most basic level of payment processing are also talked about. Focuses on providing a free real-time settlement infrastructure internationally is talked about in the report. This is another important part of the research. Ripple's decentralized peer-to-peer settlement structure will replace the current systems for moving money, and the Federal Reserve plans to adopt and use it. Looking back, we can see that there were early signs that this trend was happening. For example, about a year ago, the Ripple logo was prominently displayed during a Fox News segment hosted by the Federal Reserve that talked about the exploration of a digital United States. Other organizations such as the Bank of International Settlements, BIS, were also mentioned. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the Federal Reserve Board have added Ripple to their list of operating in the shadows partners, which shows that they are interested in Ripple's technology. If you learn more about the fascinating world of global banking, you will learn that the Bank of International Settlements, BIS, is in charge of managing a large portion of the world's wealth. Ripple's entry into this field is an important development. In a statement we got from the Department of the Interior, Jess Chan, a senior council member of the Fredericksburg Charter Board of Governors, specifically quoted, "People have said that this project is being led by someone who used to be a deputy general counsel at Ripple. There is a lot to unpack in this case and everything is connected, so those interested in the specifics should keep reading. On the other hand, that's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm about to reveal something that may surprise many of you. The Federal Reserve recently issued a warning about the risk of bank losses due to rising interest rates and pressures in the real estate market. What's interesting is that they've been talking about this with a number of partners since the beginning of March. Additionally, it looks like the BRICS countries and the European Union are making plans to use XRP. Reports from around the world all point to XRP's value going up a lot as it becomes popular around the world. This idea has even been backed up by the European Union, which says that XRP will be the basis for the new digital euro, and that the XRP ledger will be used to handle wealth transfers. According to a well-known expert, it will go up in the short term to $500.50 and could even hit $10.00. Arthur Briuto, one of the co-founders of Ripple, is said to have had this idea. As we watch the movie, it becomes clear that the stories being told about XRP are changing quickly. Ripple and the SEC were involved in a controversial situation, but now the BRICS nations have decided to build their central bank digital currency on the XRP ledger along with Ripple. The BRICS nations are the driving force behind the central bank digital currency, which is expected to become a key global financial tool, according to recent breaking news. There is also evidence that Ripple has a large network in each of the BRICS nations, which we are going to look into in more detail. Because it would be appropriate to start our journey in Brazil, where a big breakthrough has happened. Brazil has made a big step forward by introducing on-demand Bitcoin. Collaboration with Ripple led to the creation of a funding solution. This project is a big step forward in the growth of the country's financial technology environment. The next country we will be looking at is Russia. There is a lot of proof to show that President Putin has changed his currency policy to move away from the petrodollar and the US dollar because SWIFT decided not to include Russia in its payment system. A lot of progress has been made toward Ripple Labs. One of the goals is to use the XRP ledger to build a central bank digital currency for the Russian Federation. This action is not meant to, the only way to get around the SWIFT restriction is to use the decentralized nature of the XRP ledger. This will make sure that Russia can continue to be a part of global finance. Moving on to India, we find that Ripple is leading the way in yet another big project, the Digital Rupee Initiative. This is an ambitious plan in India. The idea behind this project comes from technology created by Ripple Labs. It is a big step forward in India's journey to a full global CBDC answer.